everyone, hope you've had a chance to watch the latest episodes of Hometown Cha 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 because there were a lot of really good clues dropped this week. And if you're anything like me and you want to solve the mysteries of the past before they actually get revealed on screen, this is the video for you. So I want to look at some of the clues that we've been given since the show began, and then I want to share with you all my theories about what happened to Hong Du Sik in the 5 years that he was away from Gongjin. And that links to the three mysteries of Gongjin, or at least the lottery mystery. I'm not too sure about the divorced couple, but I'll share my thoughts on that too. So here's the list of clues and facts that helped to shape my theory about Hong Du-sik's past. The first is that he said he didn't want to look after Bora's hedgehog because he doesn't like to look after living things. Then he had a nightmare where there was a bloody hand that reached out to grab him at the back, and these things hint to a inner trauma. Then there's also a couple of facts, like he went to Seoul National University and studied engineering. He was away from Gongjin for 5 years where no one knows what happened, and the only person it's implied that may have kept in touch with him was Grandma Gamri. He was also looking at a photo of a family and he cried when he looked at that photo. You can't see the man in the photo, but you can see a woman carrying a baby, and it's shown that there is someone standing beside her, but the page of the book covers that. There's also a scene where he looks sadly at an expensive suit that's in his closet. There's a few epilogue scenes where he tells the psychologist that everyone around him leaves him, and he's shown to have attended a funeral. There's also the fact that he hates the city. He prefers living in Gongjin, where he lives a really unconventional life and doesn't hold a single job. He works multiple part-time jobs and he takes the time off whenever he feels like it. So if you think I've missed anything important, feel free to drop it in the comments because I could always do with a few more clues or a few more facts to shape my ideas. So let's get into my theory. My theory is that Hong Du-sik thinks he's responsible for the death of either a close friend or a mentor, and this happened through work. I'm thinking the friend was male due to the glimpse of the picture at the funeral that was on display in episode 10 when you see Hong Du-sik crying. I'm also thinking that the woman and child in the picture is actually the wife and child of the friend that passed away, because you do see a man next to them, but you just don't get to see the identity of the man. And also, I think that Hong Du-sik was looking at the entire picture and crying because he felt guilty about hurting them all. See, at first I thought it was maybe a past relationship of a wife and child that he had lost himself, but it seems quite unlikely because he would have been quite young when he went to university. There was also the possibility that the picture could be of his family, so the man, his father, the woman, his mother, and that baby him. But I also think that it's implied through what he said in the past that he lost his parents when he was really young, so he doesn't really have that much of a memory of them. And also, I just thought that it was quite purposeful that they didn't show the face of the male. So I feel like that hints to something else. Also, I want to add that eagle-eyed Korean fans said that they had potentially spotted the name of a wife and son at the funeral that Chief Hong attends, and the wife's name is Kang Son-ah and the son's name is Park Harang. So it seems a little bit coincidental that the man was married and only had one son, and it's very likely that that's who was being referred to in the picture. If you're interested in seeing that video, I'll put a link at the end of my video, or I'll put something in the comments. In terms of actually how guilty Chief Hong is, I would say that he's probably feeling more guilty than he actually is guilty, because he has always felt that way about someone close to him passing away, probably partly because of the superstitious things that adults would say about him, but also because he wasn't there when his grandfather passed away and he was doing something that he loved, so he carries that guilt around. But I will also say that he might have been involved in the sense that there might have been some inaction or a misunderstanding or an accident on his part. So when I say inaction, I mean that he might have been the person to see his friend in danger, but he wasn't able to go to him in time, or he might not have conveyed some sort of safety information which he was meant to convey, and his friend got hurt as a result of that. And I guess the reason that I think all of this passing away happened at work or is related to a work colleague is because of his whole complex about not working a proper 9 to 5 job. He makes a big deal about being paid only the minimum wage, and I think this might have something to do with, in the past, he was really ambitious to do well at work, and he wanted to do well at work because he wanted to make more money and be rich and live a very exquisite lifestyle, and this might have been the reason why he wasn't able to save his friend. So the scenario I'm thinking about is maybe a boss told him to cut corners at work, and being in construction or engineering, the friend might have gotten seriously hurt because of something happening due to cutting corners. That's not exactly what I think happened, but that's just an example of something that could have happened. Another reason why I link this death to work is because he was looking very sadly at a suit, and I feel like that implies something to do with a formal workplace. I think he lives the way he does because it frees him from stress and from living as a corporate slave, but it also kind of reminds him at the same time of what he did. And so I think what happened to him in the 5 years is that he probably felt post traumatic stress after what happened, and he spent 5 years working at first, but then maybe staying in a place of care. And at this point, it leads me to my theory about who won the lottery, which is one of the great mysteries of Gongjin. So the shop lady tells Mi-sun that she believes that the winning ticket belonged to someone in Gongjin, but no one lives better for it. Can't actually tell who won, but I believe that either Du-sik won or Grandma Gamri. I want to propose two ideas. So the first is that if Du-sik was actually in the town at the time of the lottery, I believe that he would have won the lottery, and aside from using some money for maybe his house, he probably gave most of the money to the widow and her child, which is why he doesn't look like he won the lottery. And that would be because he wanted them to live well without the husband and he felt so guilty. My other theory, if Du-sik wasn't in the village at the time the lottery took place, is that Grandma Gamri won the lottery, but she spent it on Du-sik because he was so unwell, and so that's why he's so grateful for her. And that also explains why she would not have looked like she won the lottery even if she had. So I do have one other wild card guess for the lottery winner, and that is Police Officer Choi. And the reason for that is because it's kind of been foreshadowed by the fact that Mi-sun bought him a lottery ticket, which was a really random gift, and also because he seemed so hesitant to receive it. And that might just be because he's a police officer and you're not supposed to be receiving those kinds of gifts. But I also thought it was interesting that it had been put into the story. So that's just a really random guess about it. So that's my elaborate theory. There is one more mystery of Gongjin, of course, and that is the reason why the couple got divorced when they were seemingly so well. And I do think that's still because he was in love with their friend, who is the teacher of their son. I feel like she was probably cleaning at the same time that he was doing his socks, and she found something. And I think it might have something to do with that bracelet, because we haven't really gotten a really clear explanation as to why he was looking for it and why they're always showing that bracelet between the two girls. I mean, it could just be a friendship bracelet. Actually, I've just thought of a theory to do with the bracelet. So it seems like all three of them own that same bracelet, and it looks like it was given to them by Jungkook. I was thinking that maybe the bracelet that he gave to the teacher is actually more valuable than the one that he gave to his wife. It's either that, or he left a confession note in the box, or he engraved something on the bracelet that she finally saw on the night that she asked him for a divorce. And the reason I think this is because he went to her house and he looked for the bracelet and he asked her if she was sure that she had the right one. She never gives him a straight reply, and I think that's because she has the wrong bracelet. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems like something about the bracelet proved that he would always love the teacher more than he would love his own wife, so she asked for a divorce. So that pretty much covers all my theories about the series. If you have any theories of your own, please feel free to share them below with me. I would love to know if you agree with me or if you think that I'm way off the mark. It will be a lot of fun to look back on our answers and laugh at them once we actually know what the ending is. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.